Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Max Warframe, where we're diving into update 20.3, taking a look at new Cantech weapon to expand our arsenal of corpus weapons by checking out the Cycron. Cycron is a beam weapon that can be found in the corpus lab in the dojo. The research costs are actually pretty ridiculously cheap, there's no craziness here for materials, but what can you expect from the weapon stats wise when you have it built? Well, it comes with a base damage of 60, that all comes in the form of heat, meaning it's going to combine fairly well into some pretty useful elemental combos. You've got radiation, gas, or even blast. It's a pretty handy element to have your damage coming from. It's kind of going a bit downhill from there though. Only a 5% critical chance and a rather pathetic 150% critical damage multiplier means a crit build belongs nowhere near this weapon. Then you've got 30% status chance, which sounds good until you realise that it's status per second, which is something you can get away with on the Ignis because it's going to hit multiple targets, but you cannot really on the Cycron. The problem is that status per second is so weak against single targets, it's unreal. 100% status per second means that you're only going to get one status proc every second, no more. Unlike a 30% chance on something like if you've got the Stradivar, that would be 30% on every single shot fired. This is the main reason I don't often build status on beam weapons, because you lose a lot of raw damage for a higher chance of proccing something once per second. I just do not think it's worth it. So what does the Cycron have going for it? Well, it's got an interesting mechanic where it effectively functions as an arc-wing weapon. It has no ammo maximum at all because it just regenerates its ammo. You cannot run out of ammo with this thing. Once it fires off its rather pathetic 20-round magazine that it's got, it's going to then wait for 5 seconds and then regenerate all of the ammo in the weapon to go again. That's 5 seconds, and that can actually be reduced with the use of reload mods. This means that the reload of the Cycron actually ends up being somewhere close to 6 or 7 seconds because of the regeneration time. And honestly, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that mechanic in a second. The build I went for is a pretty standard straight elemental build. Weapon came with 2 dash polarities, which is kind of nice actually. I added 3 Vs to fit on the main mods. Serration, Split Chamber, Lethal Torrent, Quick Draw to bring the reload speed down, then 4 elemental mods. Corrosive and Blast on here. I've got Ice Storm on there to put the magazine size up just a little bit as well. I wouldn't recommend putting Prime Slip Magazine on there. The problem is that the reload is only the time before it starts regenerating. You've still got to regen all that ammo. So if you put Prime Slip Magazine on there, it means you're going to have to wait even longer for that ammo to regen to the max, meaning you've effectively increased your reload time, or if you fire too early, you're never going to reach that larger magazine size anyway. I also wouldn't recommend putting fire rate on here, which is often something you do on a beam weapon to increase your damage output, unless you like sneezing and expending all your ammo in one go. So the important question, do I think the weapon is good? And the answer is, God no, it's not. It's awful, and I hated every minute of using it. The fact that you literally reload longer than you spend firing the weapon drove me insane. It fires 5 rounds per second, and it's got a 5-second reload, and a 20-round magazine. So that means basically you're firing for 4 seconds with a 5-second reload. You are literally firing for less time than you reload. It's ridiculous. And, you know, God forbid you ever fire the weapon slightly too early. Fire when you've only regen 2 rounds into the weapon. Guess what? 5-second regen time again. And then there's the damage. It's just not that good at all. In the footage you can see me struggling with a level 35-ish napalm. 35. That's not even the top end of the star chart. It does have a guaranteed heat proc, which is nice and something that works okay, but it's not enough to save it at all. Remember, this is a Mastery Rank 9 weapon that's outperformed, well, honestly, most of the secondary weapons in the game, to be honest. It's truly and utterly terrible. The idea is good. The mechanic is a good idea. It's just incredibly poorly implemented on the weapon. If that reload was shorter, or the weapon regened immediately but slower, it would, you wouldn't have a delay, so you stop firing and it would regen, but it would regen slower. It would be much better. But as it is, it badly needs a buff. The damage needs to increase, because actually, because of the way the reload works, even the ever-hated Spectra actually puts out more damage more quickly than the Cycron, which is pretty insane. And then the reload needs to come down, honestly, by at least half for sure. If they did this, then the weapon might actually be worth using, but in this state, it's going to be a weapon I forget exists in a couple of days. But the mechanic has promise. And it's something I would love to see implemented on something like the Supra. It's something I've been wanting on the Supra for a really long time. But on this weapon, the Cycron, it's just been so badly implemented, which is a shame because it's a cool idea. With my recommendation for this thing, honestly, just wait. Wait for the buffs that will 100% come for it. Either that or just wait for the next weapon with this mechanic because it will almost certainly be better. So, that's my review of the Cycron. It's bad. So bad. I wouldn't recommend this at all. I rarely use the phrase mastery fodder, but this is mastery fodder at its truest and rawest form. So I thank you all so much for watching. I'll have a bit of an overrun video coming tomorrow, maybe some Titanfall later tonight. I've got some Cloud Pirates coming up as well. So I thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video.